Corky here. We're here in Washington, Georgia, me and Emma, my sweet daughter. And we're here at this museum. It's closed right now, but it's fine. But we wanted to show you the home of Reverend E.M. Bounds, Edward McKendry Bounds, great prayer warrior of the Civil War and the time thereafter. We're going to walk, and I'm going to talk while we're walking. So, Brother Bounds was a Methodist pastor, and then later he was an evangelist in the Methodist Church. He was a chaplain in the Civil War. He had a great commitment to evangelism and prayer, known to be a great man of prayer. And he, during the Civil War, the slavery line, pro and con line, ran through Nashville, Tennessee. And he was held as a prisoner of war in the Civil War in Nashville. After being released from prison from the conclusion of the Civil War, he was an evangelist in Methodist Church. This is the home that he lived in with his wife, whose father was owner of the railroad. So evidently, Reverend Bounds married into money, because he was not known to make a lot of money, because when the Methodist Church abolished the office of evangelist in the General Conference, Reverend Bounds walked out of the conference and left the Methodist Church. Probably then was called the Methodist Episcopal Church. And he retired to Washington, Georgia, where we're standing right now, and spent the rest of his days praying, sometimes up to 7 hours a day. And he wrote 7 books on prayer, the most popular one being Power Through Prayer, which probably had the original title of The Preacher in Prayer. His books were recommended to by Leonard Ravenhill, Dr. Leonard Ravenhill, to those of us in the late Jesus movement, Keith Green days. So we became knowledgeable about him. And there's historic stories of Reverend Bounds and his prayer ministry. He wrote a book on heaven called Heaven, a Place, a City, a Home. And it was said, and Emma, you were talking earlier about whether or not he was known to be a preacher. They did say when he preached on heaven that everyone was kind of raptured up in their hearts, you know. So he had his moments of preaching, but he was known preeminently to be a man of prayer, and that was his words. He said the preacher should be preeminently a man of prayer. So glad you came with us.